You see how nice that was? We had some nice piano playing. That was your indication to come into the sanctuary. Most people were here on time. It's just a nice way to go right into services. So Susan Ahern, once again, has agreed to go around with the microphone. So the people who are with us at home and watching online will be able to hear the wonderful things that we're sharing as a community. So let's begin. If you have something you'd like to share with our community that happened in the past week for you or your children or grandchildren, please raise your hand and Susan will come to you, but don't speak until Susan comes to you so that we can all hear it. And don't take an hour.
No, I will not. I had the chance to call and speak to my only living aunt/uncle, but Aunt Irma, and she had some visitors over, so she said, I'll call you back. And I said, no, don't worry, I'll call you back later. And then all of a sudden, like an hour later, she called me, and she just said, Michael, I am so glad you called me. You're one of the few of my /nephew, whatever, that calls. And it made my heart feel good, and I know I made her feel good. So it was a wonderful day. And I said a prayer to her when I touched the Torah earlier.
Susan, I think it would be better if you hold on to the microphone, please. I was waiting for you to say that she said to you, Michael, will you row your boat ashore? Wow, now you're acting like me with the thin skin. Anybody else? Now you're just describing me.
I think there were a couple hands over here. I saw yours first.
I was happy when my sister surprised me coming down from the Cape to spend 3 days. Very enjoyable time. She's
Wonderful.
my older sister who taught me everything I do wrong. Drink, smoke, curse, and swear. So she taught me it all.
All at the same time.
Yes, at a parochial school.
This is how we know you're a Catholic.
That's right.
Just kidding for any of my Catholic people watching. Well, I'm glad you had a nice visit. Anybody else? Nothing else good happened in our week? Well, that's the first line. That's one of the first lines in my sermon, so. We woke up. Okay. Barry, will you turn me down a little bit? I can hear some feedback. Okay. We will now turn in our Siddur to page 2, as I will invite our president, Rachel Etheridge, to light our Shabbat candles.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
If you did not receive or pick up one of these pages when you came in, you'll need that for the closing song, so please make sure you have one, because it's in Hebrew and this is a translation for you. We'll now move on to page 5 to our Kiddush, and I invite you to rise, please. I can't really see you, so I'm going to look at the screen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei Puri Hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon Hinchaltanu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat L'chaim. Please be seated. Did you share with your sister? I asked him if he shared with his sister. He said, "You didn't tell me I had to." Okay, page 7. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished? Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time. Contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide. We continue singing Hine Matov on page 10. We continue on page 15. I will read the top part if you will then respond with the indented part. Adonai is sovereign, let the earth exult, the many islands rejoice. Dense clouds are around God, righteousness and justice are the base of God's throne. We continue singing Lecha Dodi on page 20.
Shabbat nekabela, Adonai lecha dodi, Ananai likrat kala, Ananai b'nei Shabbat, Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, Kumi ori, uri uri, shir daveri, kivod Hashem, alayich nigla, lo tevoshi, matish nochati, matemi, bach yechesu, ani ami, enivneta, hiratila, ananai lechadodi, ananai likrat kala, ananai pinei Shabbat, Shabbat nekabela, olecha, dodi likrat kala, pinei Shabbat nekabela. Boi vishalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha uvitzala, tochem hunei am sigula, boi chala, wo boi chala. Hey, Ananai lechadodi, Ananai likrat kala, Ananai b'nei Shabbat, Shabbat nekabela, Ananai lechadodi, Ananai likrat kala, Ananai b'nei Shabbat, Shabbat nekabela. Shinei Shabbat nekabela, yeah lecha, dodi likrat kala, Shinei Shabbat nekabela.
Please rise for the Chatzi Kaddish on page 26. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, Bialma divrach erutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, uvizman kariv, v'yimeru, Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach, Leolam ul'olmei almaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shemei d'Kudusha Brichu, Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, Tush bechata v'nechemata, Damiran be'alma, v'yimeru, Amen. Baruch Hu, page 28.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la
Please be seated. We continue with Ma'ariv Aravim, page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, bless you, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, b'chochma potech sha'arim, uvidvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, Barei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil bein yom uvein layla, Adonai tziva'ot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Continue with Ahavat Olam, page 32.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Havta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeto. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Havta, Torah u'mishpat, Torah u'mishtim, Otanu limadeto. Aken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shokbeinu v'kumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Havta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeto. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever, forever. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Havta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeto.
Please rise for the Shema, page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. We continue reading the English on page 36. Let's read this together. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. We sing Micha Mocha, page 40.
Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha Neder Bakodesh. Nora Tehilot, Nora Tehilot, Osef Elem. Nora Tehilot, Nora Tehilot, Osef Elem. Malchus Chara uvanecha, Bokei hayam livnei Moshe, Ze Elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch, Adonai yimloch, le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch, Adonai yimloch, le'olam va'ed.
Page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. We continue as the choir leads us in Yismechu on page 44.
Yisbechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Yisbechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Shabbat, Kore, One Shabbat. Shmi, Rasita Bo, V'Kidash Shabbat. Chemdat Yamin, Oto V'Karata Shabbat. Yesracho V'Malachotacha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'Kore, Oneg Shabbat. Secher L'Maseh V'Reshit Shabbat. Secher L'Maseh V'Reshit Shabbat. Yesmacho V'Malachotacha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'Kore, Oneg Shabbat.
We turn in our Siddur to page 46. Please rise for the Amidah. Adonai Sefaitai Tiftach Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Neihem, Lema'an Shmo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'Zrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim. So mech noflim verofei cholim, Umatzir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech meimit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. We continue on page 55. Disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us from our complacency, make us dissatisfied. Dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans. Shock us, Adonai, deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, And the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue with the singing of Ritzei on page 56.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu Be'amcha Yisrael U'tefilatam Be'ahava Tikabel U'tehile Ratzon Tamid Avodat Yisrael. Yisrael Amecha. El Karov Lechu Korav Penei Alavadecha V'cheneinu Shefoch Ruchacha Aleinu V'techezena Eneinu Beshuvecha Letzion. Berachamim. Baruch atah Adonai. Amachazir Shechinato
Page 60, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha
Baruch atah Adonai, hamavarech et amo Yisrael, Bashalom. And that was Cantor Lizzie Weiss and Rabbi Jonathan Aaron. Page 62. Oseh shalom b'mromav uya aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru. Amen. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens above make peace for us, for all Israel, and for all who inhabit the earth. Amen. Continue the singing of Elohai Netzor, also on page 62, which will be followed by a few moments of silent meditation.
Elohai Netzor Leshoni Meira Usfatai Midaber Mirma Vilim Kalalai Nafshi Tidom Vinafshi Ke'afar Lakol Tehiyeh Elohai 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 Netzor Leshoni Meira Usfatai Midaber Mirma Vilim kalalai nafshi tidom v'nafshi ke'afar lakol tehiyeh Elohai Elohai B'tach B'tach libi B'tach B'tach libi B'tach libi Elohai Netzor Leshoni Meira Usfatai Midaber Mirma Vilim Kalalai Nafshi Tidom V'nafshi Ke'afar Lakol Tehiyeh Elohai 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 Netzor Leshoni Meira Usfatai Midaber Mirma Vilim kalalai nafshi tidom v'nafshi ke'afar lakol tehiyeh Elohai Elohai Yehu l'ratzon imrei fi v'hikyon libi lefanei
We come now in our service to the moment where we think of all of those in our community who are in need of healing, whether it be mind, body, or spirit. If there is someone that you'd like to add to our prayers of healing this Shabbat, please raise your hand. Barbara? Page 253, Misha Berach.
May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
If you ever had the privilege or the blessing to see or hear Debbie Friedman in concert or at a biennial, you know that when she was leading, if people in the crowd were not staying with her, she would slow down intentionally and get quiet. So people had to listen to her to stay with her, because it was her that people were there to listen and see. And it wasn't about being a diva. It was just about the fact that she wrote that melody and she owns it. So if she's singing, we owe her the respect to sing it with her. That's why there are a couple parts there, because that was a live performance at a biennial. So you probably heard a couple places where she got quiet and she slowed down. And that was the reason why, to let the congregation know, hey, sing with me, not against me or opposite of me or faster than me, sing with me. She wanted to sing together. Let us all take a deep breath for a moment and truly let Shabbat permeate our souls. The past week, the past month, the past year has been stressful, long, hard, and exhausting. Every one of us has had to refocus, relearn, or even recreate a lot of what we do day to day. It was just 6 years ago, almost this week, when our lives changed drastically, at least until October 2023. We've navigated the physical shifts of a post-pandemic, quote, world, only to be met with the spiritual and emotional shifts of a world that feels increasingly hostile to our identities. As adults, it is easy to get caught up in our businesses, paying our bills, or the logistical grind of life here in Ocala. But tonight, I want to talk about a different kind of exhaustion, the exhaustion of the heart. I see it in the eyes of the families who come to me. I mentioned last week, who worry about moving to the south, concerned about whether it is safe to be openly Jewish. I hear it in the voices of our longtime members who are tired of defending their right to exist at dinner parties or on social media. We are living in a moment where being a Jew, and specifically being a Jewish supporter of Israel, may feel like a sacrifice in every sense of the word. We are spiritually spent, and we are looking for a sanctuary that can hold that weight. In this week's Torah portion, Vayikra, or Vayikra, we enter the book of Leviticus. It is a book of details, of smoke, and of ancient ritual. The very first word of the book is Vayikra, and he called. But if you look at a Torah scroll, you will notice something strange. The final letter of the word, the Aleph, is written smaller than the other letters. Our sages teach that this miniature Aleph represents the humility of Moses. But in 2026, I believe it represents something more. Vayikra, and he called. God's call isn't always a thunderous shout from the mountaintop. Often it is a small Aleph, a quiet, persistent whisper that reaches us when we are at our smallest and most weary. In the middle of the wilderness of the news cycle, God is still calling out to us from the tent of meeting. This call isn't just for the giants of our faith. It is for the small among us, the ones who feel that they have nothing left to give. The Torah is telling us that even when our strength is diminished, our presence is required. We are called to draw near even when we feel small. The theme for the book of Vayikra is offering, which implies a loss, giving something up, like a chore or a burden. But the Hebrew word for sacrifice or burden is korban. It comes from the root kuf resh vet, which means to draw near. The korbanot weren't just about the fire on the mizbeach, the altar. They were about the human desire to close the gap between us and the divine. They were a physical response to the struggle of staying in a relationship with something far beyond our comprehension. Today, thankfully, we no longer bring animals to an altar. Instead, our drawing near to the land and the people of Israel has become our modern korban. To be a Zionist today, to draw near to Israel, requires a series of daily intentional offerings. It is the offering of comfort when we choose to speak up rather than stay silent in the face of bias. It is the offering of certainty as we navigate a sea of AI-generated misinformation and relearn our history so we can defend our indigenous land and our indigenous right to the land. And most poignantly, it is the offering of peace. It is the doom scrolling at 2 a.m., the racing heart when we see a headline about the Northern Front, and the underlying anxiety of wondering if our children and grandchildren are safe expressing their Jewishness. Just as God was specific in Vayikra about the types of offerings, the grain, the burnt offering, the peace offering, our support for Israel is not monolithic. Some of us bring our advocacy. Some bring our financial support. Some bring only our quiet, stubborn refusal to turn away. Each of these is a gift of the heart that keeps the fire on the altar burning. When I visited with my Maram colleagues while in Israel, I saw the face of this modern korban. I sat with my colleagues from Maram, Israeli Reform rabbis who are serving families displaced from the north and the south. I think of one rabbi in particular, Rabbi Yael Katz ben Yitzchak. By the way, a woman. When I first heard Ben Yitzchak, I thought, son of. But Ben Yitzchak was her father's name. Who spent her days organizing trauma counseling for evacuees, while her own family faced the strain of the conflict and her own community was in the line of fire. She didn't have the luxury of checking out of the news. She was drawing near to her community even as her own heart was breaking. She taught me that our support for Israel isn't just about politics. It is about achrayut, that burden of responsibility that we all share. When we stand up for Israel in Ocala, we are strengthening the perimeter of the tabernacle for those on the front lines in Haifa or Tel Aviv or Jerusalem or Eilat. We are telling our Israeli brothers and sisters that they are not sacrificing alone. Our voices here are the silver sockets that hold their sanctuary in place over there. The rabbis teach that when the second temple was destroyed, the physical offerings were replaced by the avodah shebalev, the service of the heart or prayer. In Vayikra, the smoke of the altar was a visible sign that the relationship with God was still alive. Today, our smoke is our speech. When we stand up for the truth, when we show up for our community here at TBS, and when we refuse to let the othering of Israel go unchallenged, we are relighting that ancient altar. It is difficult. It is time-consuming. It can be painful. But as we learn from the meticulous details of this parsha, the more intention and heart we put into our offerings, the more we appreciate the relationship. We don't support Israel because it is easy. We support Israel because we are in a covenant. We are drawing near because without that connection, our own spiritual home would be empty. My prayer this evening is that we remember that each of us is a vital link in this global sanctuary. Your struggle is not in vain. Your exhaustion is a testament to your love. May we continue to find the strength to draw near to one another, to support our family in Israel, and to remain an eternal, holy community here in Ocala and across the world. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, haporei mishkan shalom aleinu. Blessed are you, God, ruler of the universe, who spreads your sanctuary of peace over us. Ken yehi ratzon, may this be God's will. Shabbat Shalom. I'd like to now invite my children up to the bima to open up the ark doors, and I'd like to invite everyone else to please rise for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kimishpachot hadama, shelo sam michalkenu kahem, vegoralenu kechol hamonam, vanachnu koreim, umishtachavim umodim, livnik melech, malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai, lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yihye Adonai echad, Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad. Please be seated. I do not believe there will ever come a week when we do not remember the hostages and the soldiers that died fighting in the October 7th War. This week we mourn a couple in their 70s who couldn't reach shelter during an Iranian cluster bomb missile attack, Yaron Moshe and Ilana Moshe from Ramat Gan. We also remember the U.S. Air Force members killed in a military plane crash during the war, Captain Curtis J. Angst, Major John A. Alex Klenner, Captain Seth R. Koval, Sergeant Ashley B. Pruitt, Captain Ariana G. Savino, Tech Sergeant Tyler Simmons. This Shabbat, our congregation also remembers Seymour DeWitt, father of Bruce DeWitt, Fred Flyshaker, grandfather of Kay Flyshaker, Jack Abramson, grandfather of Wayne O'Mell, Stephen Lawrence, brother of Richard Lawrence, Frida Jeanette, grandmother of Deborah Jeanette, Kenneth Paul Weinstock, Mitchell Cooperberg, Joseph Steinman, Dana Weintraub, David Lewis, father of Terry Leibowitz, Norma Silverstein, mother of Steve Silver, Max Stern, father of Ruth Stern, David Schwartz, remembered by Amy and Susan Schwartz, Isidore Stein, grandfather of Karen Burke, Matilda Cooperberg. We are in Shiva for Irma Weiner, cousin of Dale Berman, and we are in Shloshim for Bradley Aronson, friend of Susan and Michael Ahern, and Talia Aharoni, cousin of Rachel Etheridge. If there is a name that you'd like to add to our prayers of memory this Shabbat, please raise your hand. Alan? Say again? I will say Libby Heinz. We turn to page 294 for Mourner's Kaddish. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon, u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivorach leolam ulomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudisha brichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Say shalom bimrumav, Uya say shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Zichronam livracha, may all their memories be for a blessing as we say together, amen. Please be seated. And now I invite our president, Rachel Etheridge, for some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. The 27th and the 3rd Kabbalat Shabbat is at 7 p.m. Friday, April 10th is our Yizkor service at 6:15 p.m. and our Kabbalat Shabbat will be our Yom HaShoah service at 7 p.m. Saturday, April 11th, Shabbat morning services is at 10:30 a.m. Upcoming events, Sisterhood Dosh and Nibbles is Thursday, March 26th at 5 p.m. at Marcelina's. Men's Club meeting Tuesday, March 31st at 6 p.m. Is that here, Alan? Okay, it's here in this building. Passover Second Night Seder, Thursday, April 2nd at 6 p.m. The deadline to RSVP is this coming Sunday, so if you're still sitting on the fence, you don't know whether you want to come or not, now's your time to speak up. Annual meeting, Sunday, May 17th at 12:30 p.m. I have down here 12:20. It's really 12:30 p.m. You should have all received the ballots. If you have not, let me know. Passover Oneg, Friday, April 3rd. Sisterhood is looking for you to bring something to that Oneg. Bring some delicious stuff. A sign-up sheet can be found in the lobby, not on the donut, but in that back section over there, the alcove. Interfaith Meals, Jay Cohen is still looking for help for June. He is here today, so if you would like to help out, please see Jay. This week's Oneg is sponsored by Steve Weiner, and this week's Beam of Flowers are sponsored by Betsy and Michael Brody in honor of their son Richard's birthday, Stephen Hines in honor of his wife Libby Whitner Hines, and Roger and Toby Rudick in honor of Ruth Yudkovitz.
Oh, the paper towel is stuck to it. It's just paper. One of my kids eats paper. I'm not going to say which one. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'tei avon. Sweet challah. Literally sweet. So our closing song this evening, I want to lay the groundwork for it. You have the words translated. This is the scene, the Israelites on the precipice of the Promised Land, sending in the 12 spies to scout the land. In this story, Moses is the 13th spy, sent in as well. On the translation, it says J2, that's Joshua. If you see J's, or that's Joshua. M is Moses, and C is Caleb. Joshua and Caleb were the only two spies that brought back good information. Think of how this song relates to what's going on in Israel since October 7th. If you can, watch the screen also, because it's got some really good, the video is also very good.
המקום אי שם בנגב המדבריות של צי 13 גברים הולכים בחושך בחמסי בשיירה בלי מטרה ברורה כמעט בלי נשק ובלי מים כלום לא קורה וכעבור זמן מה קולו של יוד שובר את הדממה מם מתנהג כאילו לא שמע ורק מעט כמעה לבינתיים 30 ימים ו30 לילות מטרטרים אותנו סתם אומר ובקולו שנים של עבודות קטנות מטעם ולמען זאת דרך ארוכה זאת דרך ארוכה זאת דרך ארוכה לכנען
30 ימים ו30 לילות מנהרים אל תוך הוואדיות נפשי צמאה לא להתגלויות אלא ליין דבר עכשיו עם הפיקוד ואם אתה פוחד תגיד להם שיוד אומר שלא אכפת לו אם רזה הארץ או שמנה, אם יש בה עץ או אם אין.
יפה מאוד אומר לו מם, לא בלי לראות אבל בלי לגמגם. יש עוד משהו על לבך, דבר עכשיו, דבר איתי, שאל בני ונעם. זו דרך ארוכה,
דרך ארוכה,
זאת דרך ארוכה, זאת דרך ארוכה נכנע. כאילו לא ירגיש מספיק מותקף, יוד מסיים וכבר מופיע כף,
ועל פניו חיוך לא חף מתענוג של כוח מתקרב לכוח. כל מה שיוד בסך הכל אומר, מנהיג גדול צריך לדעת לוותר, לסגת כדי להיזכר בתור מה שכל חייו ירצה לשכוח.
מהם בלי תנועה אומר לו שמע, פניי אולי לא לשלום אבל לא למלחמה, ואם אינכם נותנים דבר, הנה דבר מה אשר אולי תוכלו לקחת.
זאת דרך ארוכה, זאת דרך ארוכה,
זאת דרך ארוכה לארץ המובטחת.
מובטחת למי?
אומר לו יוד,
הרי כולם יודעים שבפיקוד הם מחזיקים עליך תיק וזה עניין אבוד, הצמרת לא שוכחת.
אתה עיוור אם עוד אינך תופס, גם אם נעפיל להר באורח נס, הם לא ייתנו לך להיכנס לארץ כנען שמתחת.
מהם כמו מתוך חלום לפתע מתקרב, אבל אין שום כנען, כנען לי בלב. אם ניכנס, לא ניכנס, זה היינו הך, והך בסלע פעמיים. אני רק יהודי נודד, נולדתי כדי להיפרד, מקדמת דנא ועד לשנה הבאה בירושלים. זאת דרך ארוכה נכנע,
זאת דרך ארוכה, זאת דרך ארוכה, זאת דרך ארוכה הנכנע.
דרך ארוכה,
זאת דרך ארוכה,
זאת דרך הקרובה,
דרך עצובה,
זאת דרך ארוכה.
So I want to, before I say Shabbat Shalom and usher you into the social hall, there was an article in Rolling Stone, and it was a picture of Israelis dancing in a bomb shelter in Tel Aviv. And there were all of these comments made by Israelis as to why they were dancing in the bomb shelters. And of course, all the anti-Semites came out and, how dare you if you're dancing while your country's falling apart, blah, 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 blah. And the Israelis, the main message from the Israelis was simple. You've taken things away from us. You cannot take our ability to dance. And we're going to sit in the bomb shelter, and the sounds of the booms from the bombs hitting the ground, that's the base of our music. Shabbat Shalom.